You there's some mythical creatures out there sometimes, and they're similar in a lot of ways, but also very different. So is it zombies or is it vampires?
Oh, that's a difficult one. Let's see. Like, are we talking which one I would rather be in a room with? Which one I'd rather be? What direction are we going?
Which one's better?
Which one's better?
You got to choose one.
Like, because I feel like better can mean two different things. Like, better can mean like I'd rather be this, or
you're not.
I'd rather face off with this. Or
just the one you like. Just the one you like and appreciate the most.
Which one I like and appreciate the most?
Yeah.
I think. And now, if we're talking, if I had to be friends with either a zombie or a vampire,
no. You're just watching a
like,
film, or you have to. We're just talking about the pros and the cons here. So
pros and the cons. Okay.
Like zombies, they hang out in large groups. Vampires, sometimes people think they're sexy. Vampires are pale. Sometimes they could look like regular humans. Zombies can't look like regular humans. Vampires could speak. Zombies can't. Both of them, if they bite somebody, in most cases, they're turning into one of those groups. So that's what when I was saying they were similar, that's what I was talking about.
Okay, true. I think zombies are more, they're more terrifying to me, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Like, just because, like, you know, the way that they look, number one, makes them more scary.
Sure.
Number two, you can't reason with them, right? Like, at least with a vampire, you could, like, propose a conversation and be like, look, here's, like, some things that I want to discuss right now, right? You can't do that with a zombie. You're like, hey, Mr. Zombie, he's just coming at you, right? You can't be like, hold up, wait, we're going to have a discussion right now, right? And sure, you could run into an unreasonable vampire, but at least have a brain.
He could sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Sink those fangs right in your neck.
Yeah, and it's not as gross. You're not getting like ripped apart.
You know those fangs have like little tubes in them, and the vampires don't even drink the blood. It just goes. It's like a little straw, in the tooth. I agree with the zombies being more terrifying and less reasonable. That almost makes them like better.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about like the best kind of villain or kind of a foe for people to fight against. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to have an epic film, or you want to have somebody who's super qualified in kind of combat of all sorts with guns, weapons, all sorts of stuff, like you want them to go up against the best opponent. So in that case, do you think zombies are a harder opponent or vampires are a harder opponent?
I would say that it's harder to kill a vampire, right?
Yeah,
but there's more numbers in zombies. Like it's easier to kill a zombie, but there's also like, of course they're stupider, right? So they can't like plan and like do stuff, but there's more of them, and the thought of them is a bit more terrifying in a way, because, you know, the way that they'll kill you is they eat you. Like, they're shredding you apart, you know? At least the vampire just like, doop, doop, and then that's it, right? It's like, it's more dignified versus someone just tearing you up.
Sure.
And it's almost more, in a way, like, I don't think they could have made Walking Dead with vampires. It wouldn't be the same show.
No.
And there's not many good, really, vampire shows. They add other mythical creatures to, like, compensate.
Sure, that's a great point.
They exist in like
Werewolves.
a different universe. Yeah.
They throw in like even Hotel Transylvania's got all sorts of crazy other stuff. So maybe kind of a counter to that is vampires might be able to conspire with each other, come up with a plan for kind of world domination. But when you see vampire movies, it's not necessarily like you said, like world domination. They're not spreading out to like take over the whole earth usually. But in zombie movies, like everybody turns into a zombie except for like 6 people.
Yeah, with vampires they need a source of blood, right? Like they can't kill off everybody. They know this.
Sure.
The zombies, they don't really even need to eat people. They just strangely have this like desire to just anybody that they see, they're just like, I gotta go after that person. Vampires are more like, okay, at night I'll choose like one person or something, but we can't go crazy in the town, you know, we got to keep suspicions down low. The humans have to exist, but
they think too much to be like an all-powerful force. Like the zombies just don't give a fuck and they're just eating everybody. And I think this is kind of interesting. There's a lot of zombie movies and most people know what a zombie is, even though it's not a real thing, right?
Yeah.
So did somebody come up with that idea? Like, it seems sort of realistic.
Yeah.
In a way, like, I'm not really sure about that, but they have like werewolves are like that and unicorns. So like, it's interesting how something can be so prevalent even though it's not it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it is really interesting because I feel like they have different roots too. Like vampires go back a long time. Like they've been a mythological creature for like, I mean, longer than zombies. They go back like
hundreds
even, like,
of years.
Yeah, like Count Dracula, like was like, you know, he wasn't actually a vampire, but like the whole like mythical kind of like
Phantom of the Opera. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like the guy, he was Romanian, I believe.
Okay.
Or it was like Wallachia back then or something.
Okay.
And he used to be, he was a big count there, and he became like, I can't remember the name of their like supreme like leader back then.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, and I'm not like an expert on like, you know, how it happened, but somehow Count Dracula, it became like a name that, and he was a pretty like, he was a pretty crazy dude.
I've heard of Count Dracula for sure.
Yeah. It's like he did like a ton of like just like kind of like atrocity type events. Like he was really like brutal with his enemies. So I guess they just kind of were like, he's a freaky dude, and they were kind of like vampire. I don't know how it happened.
And I think over the course of history, some people believed that vampires were real. Like whether it was people emerging from the grave as vampires or people getting lost in the middle of the night, I think people actually believed in them. I don't think people actually believe that zombies are real. And actually, like, people end up believing in ghosts and kind of ghouls and kind of, you know, like they believe those are actually real as versus zombies. I don't think people actually think zombies are real.
Yeah, because I mean, they'd be somewhere. You'd have to see them, right? Like vampires are more like stealthy, right? Same with werewolves. Like they all kind of blend in with society.
Mm-hmm.
But vampires, it's like if you're not seeing them.
You mean zombies?
I mean zombies, yeah. If you're not seeing them, they can't possibly be hiding. There's no like zombie coalition that somehow.
So it's easier to believe in something if part of believing in that means that you probably wouldn't see them. And like personally, like maybe ghosts are real. Like I'm not really sure. We don't really know how this world interfaces with like, you know, or what happens in the space where our senses don't pick up what's going on.